In Michoacán, Mexico, the federal government reported on Monday, January 27th, that it had reached an agreement to incorporate the local community militia called Autodefensa or self-defenses into quasi-military units called defense corps. The militias have fought over a year to seize control of the state from the hands of a violent criminal gang called Los Caballeros Templarios or Templar Knights that has held power for the last 4 years. The gang has been reported to make as much as $74.6 million a year through drug trafficking and extortion rings.
6 meses. ¿Cuánto te pagaban?
7,000 por quincena.
¿Cuánta gente torturaste y le pusiste la bolsa?
Varias gente.
¿Cuántos varia? Aproximadamente cuántos?
Unos 20.
The Mexican southwestern state of Michoacán is a very productive agricultural hub for lemons and avocado exports. Fishing and mining are also a major part of the local economy. Its strategic location on the Pacific coast and next to the state of Mexico makes it a real prize for narco-trafficking bands, which over the years have fought among each other to control it. According to Mexico's Proceso magazine, since 1990, when the Valencia Cartel cultivated marijuana, eventually using the area to smuggle and send cocaine up north, the zone was a profitable area for producing and trafficking drugs. At the turn of the century, the Valencia Cartel allied with El Chapo Guzman to defend its territory against a new enemy, Los Zetas. Former military commandos turned into hitmen and drug lords. The Los Zetas cartel took over the area in 2001, producing meth and other synthetic drugs for U.S. market. However, the infamous Los Zeta cruelty, severing heads and hanging people from trees in public sight, was not enough against another vicious cartel, La Familia Michoacana, which since 2006 disputed and eventually took control over Michoacán. The war for control and the eventual reign of Los Caballeros Templarios after the fragmentation of La Familia left the population terrified. The Templar Knights started out by moving crystal meth into US and inside Mexico. They eventually grew large and wealthy enough, taking over Michoacán and the local economy through meticulous schemes of extorting the population.
Ya no son narcotraficantes, se dedican a la extorsión, cobran cuota de todos los negocios, de todo lo que se pueda manejar. Si usted vende una vaca, una vaca para sacrificio, tiene que darles a ellos cierta cantidad por kilo, ¿sí? 10 pesos por kilo.
This is the voice of Stanislao Beltran, spokesperson for the militia that formed a year ago and continued to grow while successfully fighting the criminal gangs. It has been reported that they have taken control of over 20 municipalities out of 113 in Michoacán, cleaning the town of criminal elements and then setting up checkpoints to tightly control over who goes in and who goes out.
Ayer invitamos a los medios para que dieran fe de que nosotros estábamos entregando a 32 familias sus bienes que les habían arrebatado los criminales. Ayer entregamos huertas de aguacate en el municipio con qué gusto la gente nos recibe. Nosotros vamos a regresarle los patrimonios que fueron arrebatados por los criminales al pueblo. Todo lo que le haya quitado el crimen organizado al pueblo, a las familias, se los vamos a regresar.
The Autodefensas had been returning houses and farms to the original owners or their families, because in many cases they were murdered after signing a deed at gunpoint, leaving the farms to the criminal band leaders who assaulted the properties, bringing a public lawyer who many times also by gunpoint validated such operations. The local militias have also seized the houses of many narco bosses who lived in impressive luxury.
El pueblo cansado de vivir esa situación se decide levantar la mano y levantarse en armas para combatir al crimen organizado, a los caballeros templarios, que son los que dominan y ponen autoridades en el estado de Michoacán. Ellos se encargan de poner los presidentes municipales, el gobierno del estado, todo el aparato que se mueve aquí económico está en manos de los caballeros templarios.
The agreement comes to break a growing tension between the government and the Autodefensas, supported by the population. On January 13th, after liberating the town of Nueva Italia, or New Italy, The militias finally surrounded Apatzingan, the main city in Michoacán's central zone, and a stronghold of the Templar Knights. The Autodefensas regroup outside the city to prepare the offensive that will finally liberate the area. However, events took a turn when the governor of Michoacán himself brought the Mexican army and launched a security plan by disarming some militias at night between January 13th and 14th, thereby effectively preventing the taking of the city. A group of local citizens gathered to demand the army return the weapons to the militias and let them liberate Apatzingan. Then suddenly a soldier opened fire and killed one militia fighter and 3 citizens, including an 11-year-old girl. This is an alleged video of the moment when the soldiers opened fire. It was published on the Autodefensas' social media support groups.
Aunque eso no fue en la ciudad, fue fuera de la ciudad, la muerte de algunos civiles, una autodefensa y unos civiles por disparos del ejército.
This is the voice of Father Javier Cortés Ochoa, spokesperson for the Archdiocese of Apatzingan, speaking with us over the phone.
Aquí en la ciudad lo que ha pasado ha sido el ataque, el incendio de algunos comercios del centro de la ciudad. Es lo que ha sucedido aquí en nuestra ciudad de Apatzingan. Apenas hoy empezaron a trabajar los comercios que habían estado cerrados sábado, domingo y lunes totalmente. Vacía la ciudad, sin comercio. Eso es lo que ha pasado en la ciudad. Una situación de inseguridad, una situación de miedo, de temor, aun cuando tenemos helicópteros volando la ciudad, policías que cuidan, que dan vueltas en las calles, por Ejército Federal.
On Wednesday, January 15, one day after the army took control of the city, with thousands of troops patrolling the streets, a pharmacy was burned down by the Caballeros Templarios just 2 blocks away from the municipal palace. This sparked criticism by many, like Father Gregorio Lopez, priest of Apatzingan, who for some days gave mass and worked wearing a bulletproof vest, and who in an interview with local newscasts claimed that the criminal Templar Knights were fooling the soldiers who didn't know who they were, or who, according to the priest, didn't really try to go after them.
Nazario Moreno ayer comió con la tuta, el quique, en un rancho que se llama La Cucha, aquí a unos kilómetros de Apatzingan. El gobierno lo sabía, pero habría que focalizar la mirada en Vallejo, en ese decrépito que vino a visitarnos, cuando los jefes más nocivos de la región estaban reunidos allá, tal vez hasta con seguridad del gobierno mismo, de la 21 Zona Militar, que recibe nómina de los templarios.
Father Cortés described how the citizens felt after the army attacked the militias, who have in their eyes been liberating the state from the terror of organized crime.
La muerte de los civiles en la ciudad, en el lugar de Antunes, cerca de aquí, a manos del ejército, pues eso causó una incerteza todavía mayor. Como es que quienes van a cuidar son los que tiran, los que provocan la muerte de 3 personas.
Despite the agreement, now there are doubts still lingering as to the capability and the willingness of the Mexican federal government to clean the state of organized crime. Even more now in the light of the recent attacks in Apatzingan while under federal protection, mainly because there is no trust in the honesty of the federal officials. In the ground, it is evident the distrust of the people on the federal government. This is a video of a group of Mexican citizens kicking the Mexican army out of Buenavista, Michoacán. Not only local critics, but also international journalists like Stephen Korchi from the Christian Science Monitor have expressed doubts as to the motives why Michoacán Governor Fausto Vallejo descended with so many troops in Apatzingan just the day it was about to be seized by the Autodefensas, a move long awaited by the citizenry, who now wonder why Vallejo killed civilians in the process of preventing the militias to take control over the city. These are some militia commanders sending a message to President Peña Nieto on November 29, 2013.
Para usted no es desconocido el estado de indefensión en el cual nos encontramos ya que en su momento se lo manifestamos cuando en campaña visitó nuestro municipio. Sabemos que usted está informado que en el pasado proceso electoral local, Servando Gómez alias La Tuta, bajo amenazas terroristas, ordenó inclinar el voto a favor del hoy gobernador y presidentes municipales de nuestra región, emanados del mismo partido al cual usted pertenece. Ante tal situación, no podemos confiar ni en la autoridad estatal y municipal. Nuestra esperanza es que sea falso lo que este grupo criminal ya ha manifestado, que hubo acuerdos políticos por medio del actual secretario de gobierno, Jesús Reina, y el entonces dirigente nacional del PRI, Humberto Moreira, para garantizar el triunfo de usted en Michoacán y por ende seguir con los privilegios de impunidad que actualmente gozan.
Now the Peña Nieto administration have to successfully crack down the local cartels before this conflict escalates. Any other action could be interpreted as an admission of complicity with the drug cartels. In part 2, we will review who are the Autodefensas and how they originated. Reporting for The Real News, this is Oscar Leon.